about 5 3/4 inches thick. I didn't know how well this would work, but it actually works really good for finding out how thick ice is. So what we're trying to do today is see if we can get the UTV out on the river. So if we can get around 6 inches of ice, we'll try to get out here. But we're going to check all the way down the river. So we've made it several hundred yards so far. We're kind of checking about every 50 to 100 yards. And it's about 6 inches up to the top of this piece here. So I just kind of drill down. And so it's probably about 6.5, 7 inches. But this is a quick way for doing an ice depth check rather than using a ice chinker or an auger. So I thought I'd try it out. It works quite well. So thanks to Milwaukee, we're in business. All right, so far we're seeing about 5.5 to 6 inches of ice on average. We've walked probably close to a mile. So we'll probably come out today, but pretty much everything you're going to see is high speed runs. I don't want to go too terribly slow, being that I think the UTV is close to 1,600 pounds with both of us in there. I mean, you're getting up close to 2,000 pounds. So we'll probably come out here. We're going to try to find a place to turn around where we can go up onto the bank, turn around and get back on the river and just kind of keep her moving. So far, not too bad. We'll check again. But we've been averaging right around 6 inches. And right here is about 5.5. We did have one spot back there that was 5, but typically it's been about 5 3/4 to 6. I think we'll be all right. We're going to take the roof off the UTV just in case it was to drop through. We can pop straight up. Otherwise, the fear is this river is only about 3.5 feet deep. If you go through, you're not going to be able to open your door. And if that ice is at that perfect level, it'd be hard to climb out the window. So I'm going to take the roof off for safety concerns. So if we have to, we can go straight up and out. If we were to go through, what we'd have to do is get the chainsaws out and cut a swat to the bank, rip the ice all out, and then we're going to have to get a come along and actually pull the UTV off of a tree and actually just drag it on the bottom all the way to the edge of the bank. That's going to be something I'm going to try to avoid. It'd be a big pain, but the river's not too terribly wide and it's something that is feasible to do. But that would be the recovery mission if something bad was to happen. But hopefully that will not be on video. All right, one other idea I had, I mean, it makes sense. The river's not that deep. We're pretty close to the bank. Bank's right there. So I thought, why not run the tape measure down until I feel the bottom. So it's a mucky bottom, but there's the top of the muck is about 28 inches. I'll push down till it seems firm. A lot of muck. Now my tape bent at that point, so I pretty much pushed down till 4 feet. The bottom is really soft. The top of the silt, you can see all the mud on there. Top of the silt's about 28 inches, so if the silt wasn't here, it'd be quite a bit deeper. I'll check out in the middle. Typically the middle is about 4 feet deep, but if you factor the silt into it, you probably more so about 5. The tape measure will drive deeper than your feet will. I have walked most of this river in my younger years with waders and duck hunting. So we'll see how thick the ice is out here. Over there, the ice is about 7.5. And then we'll see how deep the river is too. Come on. All right, so we have about 6.5 inches of ice here. We'll go down till we hit the bottom. All right, we hit bottom here. So the river's a little deeper here. We're almost up to 6 feet deep right here. And you can tell how deep a river is by the banks if you want to scroll over to the bank. Usually on corners, you're going to have a high bank. That's where the water has eroded the soil away. So if the deepest parts of the river are generally on the corners of the river. That's where the current's the strongest, so it keeps the silt from building up. And then where the river's really wide, you have lower banks. That's generally a little bit shallower, so there's not as strong of a current. They kind of keep the silt washed away. So if you are riding, I've ridden on this river for most of my life. I grew up on this river. If you are to ride on it, typically the ice is thicker on the higher side because there's less current because it's deeper. The shallow sides, which would be this side over here, typically the ice is thinner. Now, my thought is I would still rather ride on the shallow ice, the thinner ice, because it's a lot shallower here. If the UTV goes through here, more than likely just your tires are going to be under. Your UTV goes under over there, your whole thing is sunk. So even though that might be thicker ice, I would keep my speed up and I would ride the low side of the bank, because if you go through, you're not waterlogging your motor and the rest of your UTV. The recovery would be a lot easier. The other thing on rivers, most of the time you want to try to stay in the center because you're going to have a lot of artesian wells and springs. So this unsafe portions are generally on the edges. Typically I would run this on my snowmobile and I would kind of scout everything out, see where the open water was. In the past I've ran over 300 yards of open water. Hard part is seeing open water in corners, but I don't have a snowmobile anymore, and with the UTV I want to make sure I'm really safe because I don't feel like putting that thing through the ice. But you want to use a lot of caution. That's why we're checking all the whole way before we even get out here. You are putting your life on the line, especially being trapped inside of a cage. You want to make sure you're able to unbuckle and get out and not panic. So that's why we're being extra cautious. All right, another warning I have for you is being on this river. Things I've seen in the past is we're coming up to a bridge. If you want to scan over, I know you're going to be looking into the light, but just show them the bridge. The problems you can have with the bridge is when they salt the roads and they scrape it, you can see there's drain pipes on that bridge. That salt comes down onto the ice. Obviously you know what salt does to ice. So we're going to go and check. We're going to proceed with caution as we work our way up there. Just make sure the ice is thick enough. But also when they build the bridges, they'll dredge it out. So it's going to be deep up there, which is good for us. But also it's bad because if that ice is unsafe, you're going to go in a lot of water. You may not touch bottom. So we're going to work our way up there. I have no idea how deep it is. And fun fact, we had what they call the 100-year flood back in 2009. The water was so high I could not get my duck boat underneath that bridge. So if you want to show them, right now we have probably close to 10 feet of clearance, maybe a little bit more from the ice to that bridge. I would say the water was within a foot of that bridge. It was incredible. They said the whole water level went up about 11 feet back in 2009 here. So I'll go check now and see how deep it is. I'm guessing there's at least 6 to 8 feet of water underneath that bridge. But I'm going to work my way up slowly so we don't die. That's up to here, so that's pretty safe. Still pretty good. Rivers, the ice can change fast. You can be on some thick ice and be down the next minute. There's a lot of springs. It's starting to thin up a little, but not terrible. Still at about 5.5, 6 inches. Went through a little quicker. We're at 4 inches, so we lost 2 inches of ice in about 10 yards, not even that. And the ice here, you can tell it's been so many freezes and thaws. It's honeycombed slightly. And that's a little better. It's about 4.5. It's pretty thin. The pucker factor is a little high right now, I'm not gonna lie. Right. See how we are here. All right, so 5.5 inches here. Let's see how deep we are. I'm not quite to where the bridge is yet. Yeah, it's just kind of as I suspected. So it's a hard bottom and it's 7 feet deep. We haven't gotten underneath of it yet, so kind of as I anticipated, but I have never done this before. You can see where the salt's dropping down.
Yeah, the drain pipes are right there.
Yeah, and it's working the ice over a little.
Yeah.
The ice is a little black right here. There still have good ice. Still have about 5.5. 4 inches, 5.5 to 4, and this does not look very healthy. Seems plenty safe, but I'm just going to be careful. I don't feel like swimming today. All right, we have 4.5. Inches. Okay, so the ice isn't too bad. Let's see how deep we are. We're pretty much directly underneath the bridge. Very hard bottom, and we are at about just shy of 6 feet deep. So 6 feet, let's see how high this is to the bridge. That water level was up there. Hard to see, it's so bright out. 140, let's see where that is on my tape. All right, so it's 11 feet 8 inches from here to the bridge. So it's another 10. So it was about 16 feet deep, the river was here at its highest point at this location. It's pretty incredible. All right. Typically what I found on the river is anywhere it really is unsafe, the river ends up having a rocky bottom. And it's really shallow. So if we were to go through, it would be on the edge near spring, or it's gonna be kind of where there'd be like a small rapids essentially. So it's gonna be about, I would say about 2 feet deep if we go through today. So more than likely, hopefully we can just drive out. But I do know there are some rocky portions along here. And the reason I know that is with my duck boat and my mud motor, I hit most of them. So the river sometimes gets pretty shallow. All right, I guess we'll go up a little bit further. Might as well do a scoping mission today.
Oh, look at it, honey.
Yeah.
It's a Miller Lite Bush beer can.
I don't think it's a Bush can.
It's a Bush can?
I think it's a Miller Lite.
Oh, whatever. I don't drink that crap.
Yeah, 5 inches. I do know it tends to get a little softer up here in the past, so we will proceed to check so we don't die.
Key to our whole plan here. We don't die.
I don't feel like dying just yet. Alright, I'm happy with that. Happy with that. Tell you what, guys, this was just an idea I had. I mean, I don't think ice fishermen would really use this very much, but if you're out scouting, it's just pretty slick. Pretty quick way to really check and see. Not wasting a lot of time, not carrying a ton of weight. So we had about, what, 6 feet of water back there? I do know the river shallows up quite a bit, and I think on the stretch pretty soon here, this should get pretty shallow. All right, we haven't quite gotten to that stretch yet. We're at 5 feet, but it should keep sloping up. Probably another 50, 80 yards in front of us. Just be careful, like off the tip of that log that looks a little unsafe. You see that black?
Yeah.
So don't walk over there.
That didn't seem like that was thick.
3 inches of ice.
Oh.
All right, you still recording?
Yes.
All right, we have 3 inches of ice right here. And if you look up ahead there, you see how there's no snow on that ice? That probably means this ice is a lot fresher since the last snowfall. That's probably where the rapids are. That's probably where it's pretty thin. I can see it's thin off the end of this log. Anywhere you have wood or rock in the water that retains some heat, so that'll make it a little bit unsafe. So we do not want to go through this stretch unless you're doing about 80 miles an hour, and then you'd be fine. But